What's up, my people? Welcome back to Medical Football. Welcome back to another edition of the FIFA World Cup 2026. Guys, another important game, enjoyable game, really. I enjoyed myself watching this game. A lot of things that we learned tactically in this game. And that is the Morocco versus Scotland match. Morocco won, Scotland 0. Guys, very, very, very happy with the performance of the game. I think a lot of interesting things. And first of all, let me start by saying I want to give credit to Morocco for what Morocco is doing as an African nation in the World Cup. You know, they continue to impress us in terms of how they approach the game, how they want to play. Morocco has, and we analyzed even in their first game against Brazil, we could see exactly how they want to approach the game, as what we know Morocco would want to do in terms of having those nice combination plays, in terms of being intense, in terms of, you know, being compact, but passing it around themselves. And they think they did it nicely for a lot of moments in this Scotland game. So I want to give credit to them. Fantastic game. So guys, let's jump right into the 5 things we learned. First and foremost, let me talk about the desire of Morocco. I think that should be something that I have to first start with. The desire of Morocco, not just the desire on the ball, but the desire off the ball. And I think that's great credit to them. The desire on the ball in terms of, even when you look at their shape in the build-up, irregular, but it's a shape that covers a lot of zones in terms of they're using a 3-2-2-3 at certain points. Sometimes it's even a 3-2-3-2. So it was a very, very, very irregular shape. And what we saw is that on the ball, they were, you know, having those passes together. There's this telepathy. They know where the other person is, and they were moving it nicely. It was beautiful to see at moments in the game. And you were like, this is why you want to watch football. This can also be beautiful. I know, yes, we've been talking about the fact that, you know, in the past when we were growing up, that football, you had skills where somebody dribbles somebody. But the fact is also that is beautiful. We love to see that in football where a player dribbles another. I would say, wow, that skill is beautiful. But also when you see combination plays, intricate passes and movement, and that telepathy between players or you know, and how they move the ball, that's also beautiful. And I think Morocco at moments gave us that. And not just even their desire on the ball, as I said, but their desire also off the ball. When they lose the ball, you know, that intensity to press, to counter press, and recover the ball back from Scotland. I think for the first half of that game, it was hell for Scotland for most part, because, you know, they have the ball. You know, Morocco have the ball, and when Morocco loses the ball, before Scotland say they can get into the rhythm, Morocco collects the ball back and try to continue to do things with it. And I tell you that for the first half, Morocco really gave Scotland a lot of issues. Also, when you look at also the first goal from Saibari, fantastic goal. It's just amazing. Fantastic guy, and I'm very happy. I'm also looking to see what he does at Bayern Munich. You know, I think he has completed a deal to Bayern Munich. Fantastic player. I think this is the second goal he scored for them against Brazil. He scored for them again today. I think fantastic goal from Saibari. Also, let me give credit to the way the pivot of Morocco. I love the way they moved. I love the way they received the ball and how they played. Also, the number 24 of Morocco, that's the midfielder of Morocco. Is it Ayori or something like that? The guy is a pressing monster. The guy runs. There was a time he had injury on his teeth was bleeding. His shirt was torn. That passion to run. I was watching his movement when he were playing, and I saw that, you know, because the way Morocco approached the game, which is nothing I'll talk about in terms of the pressing triggers, right? In terms of they have when Scotland is building up. Scotland builds up with a 3 at many certain moments, sometimes with a 4. But what they do is that they leave one defender free, and whenever the ball circulates, and whenever the ball is coming to that defender that has been led free, they pounce. And when you see this guy, the distance he runs to support the press, be like, come on. I think if there's anything, I think that guy really amazing. You know, gave his all. And I think these are the kind of players that might not get the headline, but tactically you can see that this guy is a bulldog and is running. So I really like what Morocco did in terms of they really had a very good game. Especially the good first half in terms of how they caused some issues to the zonal marking of Scotland, especially in the first half. So I think they had nice combination plays. The counter press, as I said, was very good. They also had a strategy of going long. So sometimes it was diversity of attack in terms of sometimes they could have these intricate passes and overloads on the sides, but at certain moment they could just decide to just from the wing play it long, right? Play it long. Also, that's another thing about Morocco also. In the sense of we also saw very flexibility of positions. For example, you see Hakimi, coming from the right, and you are seeing him on the left, and you are seeing those flexibility of positions. I think it was really, really, really good to see, and I think they are really showing us that we, as Africans, we can play good football. As Africans, we can also enjoy good football, and I think that was really, really amazing. So I think for most parts, they were there. They did all they could do. Yeah, and I also understand that the second half, even towards the end of the first half, Scotland were beginning to get rhythms. Scotland were, deciding when to press, and most times they were pressing on the sides, and when they see that they won the ball, they want to go on transitions. It was a difficult game for them because when you look at, for most part, Scotland would adopt maybe sometimes a 5-3-2, on a low block, sometimes a 4-4-2, zonal mid block to low block, and they had difficulties because, as I said, the first half Morocco was passing it through, but at a certain moment they began to get their rhythm. Also, I think Scotland's rhythm towards the end of the first half came as a result not just of their own doing alone, but the fact that Morocco had pressed for at least 35 minutes, and Morocco was already losing steam in the press, and Scotland obviously now gained momentum. And I think one of the things I saw towards the end of the first half, and also now saw for a lot of moments in the second half for Scotland, was the fact that Scotland's decision to play direct, but not just play direct, to have this area bombardment in terms of when they use long balls to try and attack and cause situations, and also the use of the wing backs in this case, their wing backs in this case, to try and cause situations. So I think Scotland were threatening at moments. They were really threatening at moments, but nothing really came out of it. I felt that at certain points, yes, you were like, are they going to get something in this game? Is it going to be open? Morocco has dropped a bit. Are they going to take advantage? But really nothing. What they came on. So another thing also, which is the last point on this, is for Scotland, I felt that they had issues centrally. So even as much as maybe the second half they were using the wing backs and having the situation, they pushed Robertson high up and tried to do some things on the wings. But I felt centrally they had issues. Che Adams was literally non-existent in that game, really non-existent in the game, because obviously the defenders, Diop and the other guy, just they couldn't do anything. They couldn't do anything centrally, and I think they have to look at that in the next game, because the next game is going to be against Brazil, and I think that's going to be a very important game. That's Brazil versus Scotland. Very, very important game for both teams, really, because they have 3 points. Brazil has 4 points now after the game against Morocco. After the games against Haiti, sorry. So they need to get a win. Both teams need to get a win to be sure of qualification. So it's going to be very, very important game. And I think they need to work out those situations in terms of how the attack is very, very important for Scotland, and also this mid block to low block situation. There were a lot of spaces that the likes of Morocco had spaces in, and they were able to live and breathe in those spaces. So I think they have to work on it. Morocco, 4 points now. I think the next game is against Haiti. Haiti side also is a side that obviously they are brave. They come out to play. I think Morocco just has to continue to do the good work. And that's about Morocco that I feel that they need to improve upon is when they get the first goal, they need to find a way to get the second goal. Because if we look at the two games, it's just one goal. They need to find a way to get the second goal. Yes, I know the overall play is good, but they need to ensure that they are clinical enough, that they create very good chances, and they're clinical enough. Clinicality is very, very important to score the second, because you could see there were chances they had in this game, but the clinicality wasn't really there to add the second one. So, guys, let me have your opinion on this game. Morocco won, Scotland nil. Very interesting game. I really enjoyed. I enjoyed the game, and I know you guys also enjoyed it. Let me have your opinions. What do you think happened in the game that I did not mention? What do we agree on? What do we disagree on? Let's have that discussion in the comment section. Don't forget to like. Don't forget to subscribe, and ultimately don't forget to share. Until I see you next time. Bye.